Hello my dear friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara, and today we're going to be looking at Jupiter in Capricorn. So this video is for you if your Jupiter is in the sign of Capricorn. If you're a cross watcher, welcome as well. Jupiter in our natal charts deals with the area where we might feel very expanded through. It might teach us through this particular area. Sometimes it teaches us and then we go off and teach. So that being said, Jupiter can also be the way that you guys teach some form of wisdom. Jupiter is also known as the area where you receive abundance, luck, prosperity, maybe even wealth, whatever sign you have in here. Jupiter, what I've noticed as well, can be the area where you might be able to push boundaries in. Let's say your friend has another placement and you guys do the same thing. You might get away with that particular thing when you have Jupiter placed in a particular placement, and your friend might not be able to get away with that particular thing because Jupiter is blessing you with luck in that particular area. It's kind of like a saved by the bell energy. It's like you get out that last moment, and you might notice that you do this unconsciously without even realizing. Now, Capricorn as an energy is the energy of leadership, structure, governments. It is the energy of kind of what this plane is really all about, at least up until this point, if you think about it. Very structured. It's all about hard work. Things take time, climbing, getting to the top, making money, wealth, status, gains. So when we have Jupiter in the sign of Capricorn, it quote unquote falls here. Okay, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer and it is in Capricorn. The energy is going to fall here. But to be honest with you all, it's interesting that it falls here because personally, if we look at the plane once again, the way that this particular plane operates, I kind of feel like you would be rewarded more so with having Jupiter in Capricorn on this particular plane with the way that it is currently, because the plane is very Saturnian. So having Jupiter in Capricorn, the whole reason that it falls here is because of the fact that Jupiter is the quote unquote spiritual teacher. It's here to expand. It's here to expand the soul, teach the soul something, some form of evolution that you guys are learning. And it's usually on a spiritual level. Now Capricorn, because of the way that the plane is, can be very materialistic. So when you look at spirituality versus materialism, well, the two worlds aren't necessarily very similar if you think about it. But at the same time, putting this out there just so people might spark some thought, it's like sometimes when we're on this earth plane and we learn the rules of the game down here, to get those material gains, you do have to have some form of spirituality connected with you. Now, maybe it might not be a higher power that you believe in or something of that sort that's helping you and guiding you, but a lot of these beliefs that, let's say, very wealthy people have, very successful people, they label it in a different way, but they're still kind of talking about mindfulness at the end of the day. They might call it goal setting. In spirituality, people might call it manifestation. It's very interesting to see because I know that Capricorn, being an earth sign, is considered to be more so grounded in the physical plane, not so spiritual. But what I will argue in this video, and this might be contrary to popular belief, I'm not sure, is that Capricorns can be very, very spiritual. And for you to be very, very successful and acquire a lot of material gains and a lot of material items, there has to be an element of spirituality connected there because you know how this plane works. Now, with that being said, when we look at traditional spirituality and in the higher realms, the material things don't really matter, but we're looking at the plane, the way that it currently is. So anytime you guys listen to like motivational speakers or like people who have accomplished something or wealthy people, whoever you guys deem to be wealthy, probably someone in this category, if you do have Jupiter in Capricorn, you'll see if you really listen to what they're saying, there is an element of spirituality connected there. That is how they quote unquote came up, got to the top, overcame some form of struggle. So that's the thing with Capricorn energy. Capricorn is always very connected to some form of struggle because it is ruled by Saturn. So it being ruled by Saturn, Saturn rewards you over an extended period of time. But that is the nature of this plane. This is what I keep saying. When we look at spirituality and the spiritual aspects of life, we talk about manifestation and you think something and it happens. But the way that the current plane isn't necessarily like that. You get rewarded for hard work on this physical plane. So with that being said, when you guys have Jupiter in Capricorn, even though it falls here, quote unquote, it falls in the sense of Jupiter wanting spirituality and expansion and going into the crown and maybe being adventurous and going on spontaneous adventures because that's that Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius is going off on some form of adventure and learning something. It might fall in that way, but in terms of the physical plane and in terms of the way that we operate down here, you guys are going to have a lot of wisdom when it comes to that. You guys might be very practical. You guys might know how the plane works, whether it is consciously or unconsciously. You guys will know how to climb because the Capricorn energy, they are the climbers. So you guys are climbing to higher heights to elevate your social status, to get those gains and to be known and probably maybe even well known in whatever area. Obviously depends on the rest of your natal chart. So you'll see people with this particular placement very much interested in having their own businesses, being in like the higher echelons of society, maybe being judges, maybe working in governments. But once again, these higher social statuses, these higher social ranks, up until this point at least, is what society has valued. So that spirituality that Jupiter is seeking, you guys might not be expanding in that way. Obviously depends on the rest of the natal chart. but you guys are expanding in the knowledge of this physical plane and this physical reality. So you guys are going to be very good at teaching maybe other people how to climb and how to get to the top and how to get into those higher echelons of society or not. Sometimes I find Capricorn, like obviously depends on the rest of the natal chart, but they're not going to be necessarily overly loud. I find that sometimes they kind of get into these higher echelons of society and they kind of operate more so behind the scenes. They might not bother to interact with the everyday person. I just started dying of laughter to myself because the way that I was seeing it was like the quote unquote peasants. I'm not saying anyone's below anybody, but that's just kind of like the energy that came through. So that's the overall vibe with like Capricorn. You'll see them more so kind of like minding their own business, doing their own thing in their like higher social circles. You might never even know who they are sometimes. Like if we look at those really, really wealthy people, some of them we don't even know who they are. Yes, we have those people that are like public figures, but if you look at like the true wealthy people and the true people who are kind of like the behind the scenes people, we don't really have a face to put to them, you know, and they're maybe the ones who are running the show. I don't know, allegedly. Anyways. So overall, I personally find this placement to be like really, really interesting because of the fact that it's considered to fall here. Even though how I see that it can fall in terms of spiritual knowledge and maybe not caring about those types of things and not being bothered with those types of things and maybe just being a workaholic and grinding and like not really paying attention to anything other than that when it comes to money and gains and wealth and material things and acquiring material things. It's a very nice placement. Now, will you guys be fulfilled at the end of the day? I don't know. Different people are different at the end of the day on a soul level in terms of soul expansion. You guys might not necessarily be fulfilled, but at the end of the day, different people value different things. So when you have Jupiter and Capricorn, this is the area you're being blessed in. You're being blessed with gains, money, material things, wealth, maybe 5 houses and 3 cars and this type of pool and that type of jacuzzi and whatever. Like all these types of things, you're going to be blessed in this particular area. And the more that you engage in hard work and dedication and climbing to the higher echelons of society, you guys will be blessed more and more. And then maybe after you acquire some form of wisdom, this is going to be the exact thing that you guys are going to be teaching, but it will come off in a very grounded way. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be terms like goal setting and mindset. Like it's not going to be so much like spirituality types of terms like manifestation and mindfulness and meditation. Like these types of people could maybe say like, I go to the gym, and for them that's kind of like their de-stressor, but in a way they are meditating. Now another thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is the area where you guys might be able to push boundaries in. So for you guys, it's going to be the Capricorn type of area. So what do I mean by this? Well, really in this particular area, anything that is Capricorn, like you guys are going to be lucky. Okay, you might be saved by the bell at that last minute. You know, it could maybe be something to do with investments, for example. Maybe you guys just have like that intuition when it comes to investments and you guys know when to pull all your investments. And let's say you have your friends who are kind of like waiting for it to go even higher, but you guys kind of pulled your investments out at an earlier time. There's that luck. There's that Jupiter basically blessing you guys in this particular area. And it's like maybe the next day, the prices ended up dropping and then your friends missed out or whatever. I'm sure you guys catch my drift. It really is a random example, but this is what I mean. It's like it's at that last moment, you'll be able to push it all the way until the end. And then it's like, you're like, okay, now it's time to act on this opportunities, anything that's Capricorn like. So it's going to be work, opportunities, climbing, once again, status, all these material types of things. So overall, even though Jupiter does fall in Capricorn, I do feel like on this earth plane and in this physical reality, you guys are still going to be blessed with abundance. You're going to be blessed with even more money. The more money you make, the more money you guys are going to make. You guys are going to be blessed with status as time goes on. I do find that Capricorn energy when they're younger, they do surround themselves with people of status because they're kind of like indirectly learning from these people. And then as they grow, they slowly start to climb those higher echelons of society. You guys will be blessed with material things, material wealth, maybe a lot of knowledge when it comes to running a business or being in upper management or just like higher echelons of companies. So with all of that being said, I'm going to wrap up the video on Jupiter and Capricorn here. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please do like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the day.